What is up? I just finished a session playing 2 tables of Rush and Cash on GGPoker. And I want to review a couple of hands that I played where I had some questions for myself and hopefully some interesting takeaways also for all of you. I opened up PLO Trainer, which you can already see behind me. We have a new feature which is called the Matrix View. And I'm going to use that as well in this episode to analyze my play and hopefully find some interesting takeaways. And if you think that is interesting, guys, then make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also check out PLOmastermind.com, where we will be running a Black Friday promotion starting Monday 25th of November. We're running a sale for a week. There's a sale on the yearly membership as well as a lot of bonuses attached to the Black Friday promotion, so make sure to check it out. Go to PLOmastermind.com if you want to learn more about that.
In the first hand of our session today, guys, I'm in the big blind where the small blind raises after everyone folds to him. And I have ace, king, 9-9 single suited to the ace. Now I decide in game to come in for a 3-bet. And the reason I'm 3-betting here is because we're playing big blind against the small blind, where my 3-betting range should definitely be significantly wider than in other positions. And that is because I'm closing the action in position. I have only one player that I'm playing against, and my opponent is also supposed to open raise about 35 to 40% of hands. Against that range, I can definitely 3-bet 12, 13, 14% from the big blind. Now, I do believe that ace, king, 9-9 is a reasonable candidate because I'm blocking aces and I'm blocking kings. I have a pair of 9s that can flop quite robust. And against the 4-bet, I'm not in a great shape. I have a very easy fold. I want to start off with the small blind, who is supposed to VPip almost 40% of his hands, primarily raising 36% of the time. I'm using PLO Trainer to analyze this situation, which is a software that runs in the browser that stores hundreds of thousands of pre-flop and post-flop solutions that you can access within a few clicks. In this window, you will see the raise first in range by the small blind is 36.09%. He's supposed to limp 1.67% and fold the rest. I think if you play the small blind yourself, I would ignore the limping range and just play a raise or fold strategy only. Now against a raise by the small blind, the big blind is supposed to 3-bet 13.28%. Now we can 3-bet quite wide here, as mentioned before. Let's take a look into a hand like ace, king, and 9-9. And I want to use the categories on the bottom left to do this. The categories are pre-built-in that basically group hands together with similar characteristics, so you can learn much more efficiently how to execute the strategy. So we're looking at a 1-pair hand that is single suited. This hand class is 3-betting 21% of the time. If I open this one up and look at the different hand classes within that, aces 3-betting always, Broadway pairs 3-betting 13% of the time, and mid-low pairs 15%. Opening this one up, and we do see that if we have a suited ace hand with a Broadway, we are 3-betting always 100% of the time. Now let me open up this hand class to show you guys what is exactly in here. Ace 10 deuce deuce, ace jack 3-3, ace king 3-3. And if I would filter for ace king 9-9, then we also see that this hand is supposed to be a 3-bet pre-flop. Now if we do 3-bet and our opponent comes over the top with the 4-bet, then ace king 9-9 is a fold unless we are double suited. Next hand I want to look into is one where I open raise queen 9 8-8 from under the gun. Definitely a bit close. I rather have the ace, of course, in my hand or better connection with like 10 9 8-8. This one is somewhat in the middle, so I'm not 100% sure what to do. And let's take a look into PLO Trainer in a second. But first, also look at the flop. I flop a gutter and we still have the pair of 8s. Against the small blind, usually a tight range. I think checking might be the standard here, actually. I did go for a small bet, which I think also is okay. I can deny some equity against an ace high or a king high hand, but my opponent will not have those hands that often. And I'm also not going to make a jack fold by this sizing, so I don't think the bet is that efficient, to be honest. On the turn, I do decide to continuously bet at this point. My showdown value drops a lot after getting called. I pick up equity, and I can put a lot of pressure at this point by betting larger on a hand like a jack, but also on king-king, for example, queen-queen. And I think those hands will very often end up folding because they will be in such a tough spot. So we do take it down post-flop, but I want to look specifically into pre-flop. Here we are pre-flop, under the gun. 6 max low stakes solution for GGPoker. In this setup, we're open raising 18.36%, and I'm going to use the matrix view to take a look into my play. Now, the matrix view is a grid of 13 by 13 that you might be familiar with from No Limit Hold'em, and it basically stores all the hands in our range. Now, the first thing that I need to do is I filter for the 2 highest cards in my hand or the pair in my hand. And I will filter for the pair in my hand, which is 8-8. And we are starting off there. 8-8 is all the way in the middle. When I click on it, we do see in red where the raises come from and in blue the folds. Now, when you look at this matrix, it might still not be completely clear to you what types of hands we are raising versus folding. And therefore, there are some filters on the right side that will help you to understand this better. So my hand was double suited, for example. So if I filter for double suited, we immediately see the matrix shape differently. And what it is that we're looking for is we are looking at any hand that has 8-8 in there with 2 other side cards that are double suited. And in red now we see that there is a lot of raising, right? Only if your side cards are very disconnected from the 8-8, we see the folds in blue. But other than that, there is a lot of raising. And if we look for Queen 9, which are the side cards of our hand, and highlight this by clicking on it, we do see on the left side in the details window that Queen 9 8-8 is actually supposed to be an open raise. It's a marginal open raise of 0.1 big blind only per hand, but it is 1-2 raise. Next hand of today, guys, is one where I sit in the big blind and I look down at ace 10-4 triple suited facing an under the gun raise. I do decide to 3-bet, which is, I think, pretty standard with most of my aces, but we're going to look into that in a second. Flop is 7-6 deuce rainbow. I completely missed the board, as in I don't have a blocker, I don't have a straight draw, I don't have a straight draw blocker even. I mean, I have the 4 actually. And I don't have a backdoor flush draw. Now, I decide to check on this board. Really, the goal here is to check call versus a small bet. Hope to see a check back, of course. But against this sizing, unfortunately, I will have to let it go. I don't think I have enough equity or playability to continue against a pot size bet. Starting off with pre-flop, early position is open raising 18.36%. And against the raise from early position in the big blind, we are 3-betting only 4.11%. So we're 3-betting very tight. Now the question is ace 10-4 triple suited a 3-bet or not? I'm going to use the matrix view over here to analyze this more in depth. The matrix view is a grid of 13 by 13 that stores all the hands in our preflop range. And I'm going to click on ace in the top left, which is the pair in our hand. Once I click on it, we do see the following level. In red, we have the 3-bets, in green, the calls, and in blue, the folds. Now, first of all, you might ask yourself, are we folding aces pre-flop? The answer is yes. If you have rainbow aces with 3 aces in your hand, you are supposed to fold. Other than that, what you can see is on the top right side of the diagonal, there's a lot more red visible than on the bottom left side of the diagonal. And that is because if your hand is suited to the ace, you're going to 3-bet a lot more often than if your hand is not suited to the ace, which are the combinations at the bottom here. Other than that, we can get more understanding of how to play aces by using the filters on the right side. So for example, if I filter for single suited aces, we see the grid shaping differently. And now we do see that we're 3-betting a lot of aces that are single suited. But especially here at the bottom left part of the range, there are some calls. And these are the ones with a bad suit. So for example, ace 9-3, that is single suited and that only has the 9 high suit. So we're disconnected and we have a low suit and then we're just going to call. If we have ace and we are double suited, very easy. We're always going to 3-bet. You can see that over here. And then if we look at ace that is triple suited, we do see that we have to be quite selective. Especially what you see is that those 3-bets come from those hands in the middle here. And that represents hands where the two sidecars are strongly connected. For example, aces 10-9, aces 9-7, aces 6-5, aces 8-5, like those are good enough. But the more the sidecars are being pushed to the edge of the matrix, the more disconnected you become, the more likely it is that you should just call. Now, aces 10-4 is over here. It is sort of on the edge between calling and 3-betting. It's one of those edge cases, I would say. Looking at the shape, I think it's not a mistake really to just 3-bet only your best variations and call the rest and make that a much more implementable strategy. So my 3-bet is correct, but I think calling would also be okay. Finally, let's look at the monotone hands over here and the rainbow hands. Well, we don't have a monotone variation, right? Because we have a pair in our hand. Therefore, the top right section is empty basically. And the bottom left side, if you have rainbow aces, you're pretty much always going to call unless you have a double paired hand, ace 7-7, ace 6-6, and the strong combinations over here. Other than that, just gonna make the call. So interesting takeaways here on how to play aces from the big blind against an early position raise. Now let's take a look into the post-flop decision as well. This is the same board, 7-6 deuce, where the small blind immediately we can see is betting 81.27%. So very, very often. And I think the reason here is because it's not a board where we do amazing in terms of made hands, but so is our opponent's range, right? Like he's not going to have a ton of 2 pairs or sets on this board. And therefore my overpair heavy range, which has a lot of aces in there, will do really well. That part of my range has enough equity to pot and stack off, but doesn't have great playability, and therefore we use a large sizing. If I would filter for ace-ace, we do see that aces are c-betting 93% of the time. A little bit of checking on the left side with our very best hands where we do have a set, but other than that, we're mostly betting, including ace-ace 10-4, which is a clear bet, even if we would have no backdoor flush draw, so we have 3 hearts in this example. Even that variation is a bet. And if I would pot and then face an all-in by my opponent, then ace 10-4 is also a stack off. So turns out that I was a little bit too tight here. My hand is a clear pot, absolutely. The board is dry enough and I shouldn't be afraid of running into amazing hands that often that I can allow myself to bet with a high frequency. So a misplay by my hand, too passive.
That's gonna wrap it up for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy the session. If you do so, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also don't forget to check out PLOmastermind.com for our Black Friday sale that is starting November 25. Okay, guys, enjoy the day and good luck at the tables.